There we are. We are live, which means, of course, as it always does, if you're watching live, it's Wednesday at noon Eastern Time, which is time for the High Noon Hemp Show. It's officially the 323rd time we've done this. If you can believe that, go back and count them yourself. They're all on YouTube. Go check it out and watch each of them individually and count as you watch, or watch some of them. Whatever it is, you're here live for this one. And following us, either it's the first time you've watched us or you've been following us for a long time. Share, let people know we're talking about hemp. They want to know about hemp. Well, this is where they need to be. I'm, of course, Stoner Jesus. He is Beach. He loves hemp. You can find us in various places on Facebook. We got the Hemptations Beach Facebook page. On YouTube is the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, which is a better quality video if you're looking for that. And of course, follow at Hemptations Beach. He is, of course, high above the Hemptations in Northside Beach. How are things this week in the world of Hemptations?
Man, tumultuous, is that a word? I don't even know.
Not sure.
Crazy. We'll just say crazy. It's true. Welcome, everybody, to the High Noon Hemp Show. It's true. I am Beach, and I am high above the Flower Factory and Hemptations here in beautiful Northside, Cincinnati, Ohio. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Been having a rough day so far, so we're gonna do this. But we're still gotta hopefully. Well, no, it's not gonna be a good show because I'm ending the show discussing the biggest elephant in the country right now.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and remember this. Speaking of the biggest elephant in the country right now, the FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. That being said, let's go ahead and put our peace signs on our hemp hearts and do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it is planted. One seed under the sun with responsibility, sustainability, and thriveability for all. Yeah, we'll see how that goes soon. Anyway, but again, I'm going to talk about that. Ohio is still trying to do some stuff. I don't really know what they've given up on or what they're trying to do at this point. But, again, if you're in Ohio, call your representatives and tell them, the only thing that you agree on, if they want to change anything, is 21 and up. And that's it. That's it. A small license, maybe. Nothing big. No, not a whole lot of money. Anybody can get one of these. Anybody can sell this stuff. And all that does is tell them exactly where everybody that is selling it and is supposed to be selling it to 21 and older so they can go investigate that if they want to. Just like tobacco. That's all it needs to be. It really, honestly. So we'll see what happens in Ohio. Either way. So we recently lost a member of the Hemptations family. Gabe Miller was with me from about 2013 to probably 2017. He was a big part of the skate park. The top picture there is Gabe teaching the kids. We used to do we had 4-H out. We'd have schools and whatnot, but this is him teaching the kids basically how to build a board from scratch. He really loved his time out there. If it was not for Gabe being at local skate park when I owned it, Lil Wayne wouldn't owe me $150. And it's true.
Hey?
It is not a lie. Lil Wayne still owes me $150 from when he came into town and Gabe got up, or Gabe was probably up because he was young and whatever. Stayed up, I should say. Gabe stayed up so that Lil Wayne could come and skate at the skate park in the middle of the night after one of his shows here in Cincinnati. And they didn't pay me. And when I got in touch with the manager acted like I was the biggest piece of scum for asking for $150 to let Lil Wayne privately skate in his own skate park for 2 hours. Like literally.
Wow.
I was like, man, he didn't even like give my dude an autograph or anything. And his manager comes at me like, he doesn't have to do nothing. He doesn't have to give autographs. That wasn't part of the deal. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, geez, man. So anyway,
Right.
if not for Gabe, Lil Wayne would know me $150 at the very least. Gabe was kind of a luckier employee in my opinion because he came into the circle through a mutual friend of ours, kind of, and so he was more a part of things that we would do. I was been talking about this as a responsible business owner. I always tried to celebrate there's separate. Geez, I tell you, it's that kind of day, man. My brain is just out there. Anyway, separate my employees from my social life. Not that it didn't interact. We were showing up at the same shows. We were doing stuff. I didn't. It's not that I didn't want them there. It's just that eventually they would tend to take advantage of these things. There's a fine line between friendship and employment, employment, I should say. But again, they were all my kids. Gabe was, he was only 10 years younger than me, but I look at almost all my employees. You'd be 10 years older than me, and I would actually kind of look at you like you were a kid or my kid. And so anyway, and the bottom picture is when we were vending one night at Bunbury. This was when we were at Bunbury, and this guy in this Batman suit, man, I can't even imagine how much money he spent. I mean, it was the real deal. He came by and we got a picture with him. And then Gabe's standing on the end there. I don't have too many pictures. I don't have too many pictures of my employees. Period. It's just is what it is. And so he will be forever missed. I will never forget Gabe. He was a good guy, man. He was just a good guy. He was responsible. He was a wanderer. He was wandering when he found us, and when he left, he went to wander. I think it was. I mean, here's what I think is unbelievable about Gabe, and he was huge into Scribble Jam and the music scene in Cincinnati. If you know anything about the music scene in Cincinnati, you may have heard of the band DJs, MCs called Animal Crackers. Huge in Cincinnati. I mean, these guys have been around for a long time. I remember going to see them on occasion back in the day. I remember having, I'm just so hoping because I kept talking about it. I had one of their posters for one of their events that someone had come and hung up in the store on my wall in Sharonville. And so I really hope that I still have that. But these guys showed up to DJ at Gabe's Celebration of Life. They DJ'd his albums. They had a DJ battle. It was, I mean, again, and I keep saying this, and it's wholeheartedly true. I could only be so honored as to have someone like Animal Crackers show up and spin records at my Celebration of Life. But Gabe had people showing up from when he worked with the movies in Lexington, when he worked in Columbus. I mean, he's gone too young, man. 45. Nobody should go at 45. It's just yeah, he is my family. He will always be my family. Remembered as Tom with a T, Darth Stoic, who passed away. Tom was working with me, or working with us about the same time of year. Now Gabe's been gone for a month or so, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Well, that's stupid. Um, you know, and that being said, if we're memorializing, I definitely want to remember the High Noon Hemp Show's biggest fan, my cousin Carrie, who watched the show every day until she passed. I promised I wasn't going to cry, but I'm sorry that I might. Um, all of them will be missed, one way or another. So we're gonna do 20 seconds of silence for Gabe, and we'll be right back. All right. Oh, you know what? I forgot to ask you, Stoner. Do you know what else today is?
I have a vague recollection of us discussing this at previous times, but confirm it for me, Beach. What is today?
No, forget it's Help Day.
Never forget.
All right. I probably wanted to scream a little louder than that, but I held it in. Okay. All right. Let's get on with the show. Smoke in peace, Gabe Alicious. That's what I always called him, Gabe Alicious. Smoke in peace. Let's get on with the product spotlight. The first one, so I had a customer come in and he was like, "Hey, you got any of your necklaces still?" And then I had to go dig through some boxes because I'm still working on getting everything out here. Um, but I said, "Yes, I sure do." So I pulled them all, most of what I had out, and put it on the counter. So, um, this is. I think this is a great idea. Never too early to start thinking about great holidays, gifts, no matter what holidays you celebrate. And it's always nice just to give a gift, no matter when, no matter what. So maybe somebody might like a hemp necklace. Um, and so I'm not going. I'm not going to make a prediction, but I do think that hemp jewelry is going to make a comeback. It's going to be huge again, like it was about 20 years ago. We'll see if I'm right. I can only forecast. I can only hope because I have a huge selection. um, I did get all of the pants organized. Now, again, these are all men's. I do have some women's pants and stuff um, that I should probably get organized and worked out as well. But I did finally get most of the jeans and pants organized. We have everything from a 26 waist to a 38 waist. Uh, if you're a 32, I got a really good selection for you, especially in the Kentucky Hemp Outfitters. I think I only have one pair of 36, and they're the designer jeans. Yes, designer jeans. Um, but you know, decent selection of 38s, decent selection of 32s, a little bit of 30s. I think one pair, once again, maybe one pair of 26s. But anyway, it is that time. The weather has broken, at least here, no matter where you are. And I'm going to start trying to get some of these listed. The ones that I definitely have multiple pairs of in sizes will definitely be listed on the old eBay at the ERB Son of Ma eBay site. Um, my script is all messed up because I'm doing something different there too. But of course it is. These are long. Yeah, I got the long sleeves, and again, these are the men's, but these are just the smalls and the mediums of the long sleeve hemp clothing and jackets that I have. And so, no matter what size you are, I have a jacket for you to get through winter at greatly reduced prices from the sticker. Women's or men's, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We got all kinds of different colors, a couple different styles. Um, been selling some of these. Um, the one I sold a week ago for someone that bought it for his wife's birthday, it must have fit because I didn't see them again because he said they were coming to Cincinnati. He was actually from like Indiana, but they were coming to Cincinnati for a show, and he said they'd stop in if it didn't work, and it must have worked. She must have liked it. So good job. That's all I can say there.
That's right.
And the last one, we're gonna get started here, and I'll probably do 4 holidays related cards a week until, because I have a bunch of different selections here. But again, we're not taking Christmas out of Christmas. We're celebrating all holidays. That's the way we do it. This attack on the word holidays is really just an attack on everyone else's holidays but Christmas. I'm like, you know what? You can, when I say happy holidays, you can include your Christmas just as much as you should include Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and the winter solstice and New Year's Day, which is technically the holiday there. New Year's Day is technically a holiday, and whatever else that happens, Thanksgiving, whatever. Anyway, so and we can always get behind peace as an ideology. We need a lot of that, I think, right now. Either way, so keep spreading that word as much as you can. Oh, shit. All right, there's 4 from the door. Now, the one from my door I mentioned, I think last week's show, I told everybody how we have, Mary has made many sets of curtains. Here is one of those sets of curtains that Mary has made over the years out of hemp. And so she's very, very good at these. Mary's good at whatever she does when she does it. So, they look very professional. They do a great job. Again, no chemicals needed to grow that fiber. Those curtains will last probably forever for the most part. Because it's their strongest natural fiber out there. So there you have it. There's 4 from the store, 1 from my door. Here on the Product Spotlight on the High Noon Hemp Show. Da-da-da.
And we do have the pictures we need, so we're ready in that department. It is time, of course, for the greatest segment in internet history. And of course, when we talk about Beach's hemp clothing, all the hemp products he has, we like to mention all of the hemp records that Beach has set and currently holds, unrecognized by the Guinness World Records, but set and held nonetheless. The Guinness World Records, they don't care about hemp or cannabis. That is their official policy. They don't care what you do in regards to that, if it's a record, how impressive it is. They just don't care. So we like to go check out what they are up to on a weekly basis. And normally, well, I'm at a loss. And I don't think I've ever been more at a loss than I am today with today's presentation, what they are focusing on today at the Guinness World Records Corporation, or whatever it is they are. Massive, massive organization. Been around for many decades. And today, on their Twitter, I find this. Record breaker and sideshow performer Casey Severin releasing animal traps on his body. He released 91 animal traps on his body in under 1 minute to reclaim his painful record. So you see, a few years ago, this guy did this. Apparently, they say it's all in a day's work. Apparently, he's also a sword swallower, and he does falconry and all kinds of dangerous things. But a few years ago, he set this record by doing 58 animal traps. So last year, somebody was like, well, screw that. I can do much better. That's weak sauce. Those are rookie numbers.
That's nothing.
He did 85 traps. And this guy, well, he wasn't going to have that. He can't be challenged in that way, and especially in the world that he's in of, doing crazy things. So he reclaimed his record with 91 animal traps. Apparently they had over 100 ready, but he figured 91. He did 91 in a minute, and that was good. And now it's up to someone else, I guess, to do 92. They throw in the article a brief little paragraph that says, obviously this guy's a professional. Don't try this at home, because I don't think they want it's promoting you sticking your hand in animal traps. It's not a good idea.
Yeah.
So that's what the Guinness World Record.
Put that disclaimer on there.
That's what the Guinness World Record organization, as they ignore hemp and cannabis in every way, there's a guy shoving his hand basically into bear traps and then releasing them and then doing it again over and over again. And they were like, you know what? Let's send a crew for this. This is important.
It's important. This is important.
So it's up to us to continue to chronicle, as we have done for over the last 7 years, all of Beach's many, many records. In the beachwear segment, of course, we're talking about the clothing, because Beach is dressed head to toe in hemp every day. And all you have to do, if ever you encounter him in life, is ask him one simple question. He will tell you all about what he is wearing when you ask, what are you wearing, Beach?
It's true. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you'll know. This is one of those low effort days. I put no effort into this outfit whatsoever. It just, this is what I have on. Which is, my normal day. Usually I get a little dressed up for you guys. For the what are you wearing, Beach, sometimes. So I put some thought into it. One of my favorite hats, my fair hemp hat. My shirt is a Hemptations head case shirt. Underneath that, the black long sleeve is a Young Maven button down long john, I would call it, long john shirt, basically under there for layering up. On the outside of it all is my Dash Hemp hoodie. And I really love the old Dash Hemp used to, and I need to find a Dash Hemp shirt that they used to put hemp rocks on the sleeves of their shirt. It was kind of cool. Like, it almost looked like a little mountain, and then it said hemp rocks. It was pretty cool. That's Dash Hemp. You can see there in my Kentucky Hemp Outfitter jeans, my Green Springs Technology pen in my pocket, which is either in my pocket or in my bag when I'm out. Underneath it all is a pair of I Love Bad briefs, a pair of Kind socks, and some Adidas Sambas. There you have it. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you know, here on the High Noon Hemp Show. So I think this was, I hope I picked the right commercial here. I think this was a commercial. This is a political commercial that we did for the Ohio Rights Group would have been over 10 years ago at this point, but I think it's very fitting for today's hemp world. I don't know. Check it out, and we'll be back with some news.
Hemptations 420 to Earth Day sale is upon us.
Totally
Everything
not the
store-wide for 20% off, and maybe higher. Enjoy the annual 420 Earth Day 422 sale, so you can enjoy you and the planet. Hemptations carries the largest section of hemp goods on the planet
that's the
because
damn
it's so
habit.
good for the planet. Either way, get to one of the Hemptations locations and get.
Next year, make sure you get the Hemptations on 420
Oh my gosh.
to take advantage of the
That's
sale.
right. For you and the planet.
That's right.
Yeah, so that was not the Ohio Rights Group commercial. So anyway, I will find it, and I will get it out there on next week's show. Anyway, so let's get to a little bit of news. Not really a whole lot out there. Honestly, it's been kind of a slow week for stuff. But this is the inside of a research. Or no, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Let's do the Pathfinder. I forgot about the Pathfinder because my script's all messed up. This is Pathfinder. Now, Pathfinder, pretty sure they're the guys out of Texas. Maybe I don't know if they were the first hemp vodka. I don't know. I'm not sure about it, but I do remember seeing other things about Pathfinder. And what I really love about Pathfinder, period, is their labels, because on the bottom there it says that this espresso tonic dispels negativity quells heebie-jeebies, shivers, and despondency. And so, I mean, the funny thing about the heebie-jeebies, I said heebie-jeebies when I was a freshman in college. I was just like out in the hallway or something, and I said heebie-jeebies, and there was a kid from like New York or something, and he's like, "What'd you say, heebie-jeebies?" And he just couldn't get it. He just couldn't. He was just amazed by the whole heebie-jeebies thing. I'm like, "You've never heard heebie-jeebies before?" It's like I thought everybody got the heebie-jeebies. But maybe it was just something like a regional thing that we said. I don't. I mean, I feel like the heebie-jeebies have been around since witchcraft.
Yeah.
Just saying. That's just my, etymology belief of the term heebie-jeebies. But anyway, but this espresso tonic is made with fermented and distilled hemp seed in a copper pot. And again, sounds a little witchcrafty.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Makes sense. But I love everything these guys are doing. So I have to tell you again, non-alcoholic, and it's just hemp. It's not CBD or anything like that. It's just hemp. The one thing that I will say, well, okay, it's not just hemp. There are other ingredients. And a couple of the other ones that I remember are sage and juniper. But the big one that I remember is wormwood. And if you know anything about wormwood, I believe, is the main ingredient of absinthe. So, not really sure. I mean, I have drank the real absinthe multiple times in my life, and I can tell you it would quell the heebie-jeebies because you're about as mellow as you can be. You're pretty cool, calm, and collected, no doubt about it. I don't know about despondency, but I feel like it might make you more despondent. I don't know about that one either. So. Either way, while you still can possibly get online and get yourself some Pathfinder espresso tonic.
Indeed.
Either way. Okay, so here is your research facility, research and educational building dedicated to regenerative practices. I believe this is in the Netherlands somewhere, definitely Europe. It's called the Hedeskov Living Lab, and it was built using local clay, sand, hemp, and wool. And so, that's as much almost like cops out. Now, the interesting part is that it's actually brick. I almost showed the outside, but it's actually, from the outside, it's brick. So what they did with the hemp was they just came in and smeared the hempcrete insulation on the inside walls, basically, for this little facility. But super neat. And again, when the people that research and educate on regenerative practices choose hemp as their option, that says a lot about hemp. Either way, I don't know if 10 years ago hemp would have been on the list even. It's possible. It's Europe. They've been much cooler to build with hemp and use hempcrete a lot longer than we have. So I'm not saying it's not. Probably wouldn't have been here in the United States. But all right. Well, I'm gonna go through some state stuff. But in Hawaii now, you have to be registered to sell hemp by the beginning of the year. So if you sell any hemp products in the state of Hawaii, you have to be registered. So make sure you get that done. Minnesota, their applications for industrial hemp farming is now open. So if you want to grow hemp next year, you can go ahead and put that application in. I can tell you this: I can tell you right now that if you plan on growing hemp next year, and this measure to end the government shutdown goes through, which they're going to vote on tonight, and this is what I'm going to end the show on. If the hemp provision is in there, no one's going to grow hemp in the United States next year. No one. Not for fiber, not for grain. It's going to ruin every market. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm not going to, if I start that path now, I'll never get to the little bit of stuff. And I don't have much more to talk about for the news. Just say it. So New Mexico is still got that call out. If you are selling unregulated hemp in New Mexico, you could get in trouble. The ironic part of this, and the brilliance of New Mexico going after unregulated hemp, is the fact that all hemp is unregulated. And there's no FDA regulations. The FDA won't say anything about it. So technically, I should say the flower products are unregulated. Now, is the grain industry regulated? I would think so. I would think that the grain industry is regulated. I don't know what the grain regulations are for hemp grain, if there are any. But if hemp grain is technically unregulated, if hemp flour is technically unregulated, then hemp grain would technically be unregulated because it is in the flour. Again, these are the confusing parts of all of this. This is, when the government intentionally confuses you as to what they are even talking about to begin with, that should give you warning. Should give you warning. Every American, every human should be cautious of a government that cannot clearly explain or tell you what it is that they're even trying to regulate. And so, I don't, technically, like I said, CBD, unregulated. Any of the deltas from industrial hemp, technically unregulated. It's the beauty of New Mexico's ban, so to speak, is because they didn't ban CBD, they didn't ban THC, they banned unregulated hemp, which, once again, what is unregulated hemp? So it's they're going to destroy every industry because they're not very clear on what's going on. If you're in Britain, do not fly with your CBD. Just read, that's a big no-no. And again, especially if you're an American or you're flying out of America, best be careful what you're flying into other countries with. Your harmless products are still highly regulated, highly watched after in a lot of countries. And I don't know, there's a lot of fine lines. But apparently you cannot fly with CBD in Britain. So be careful. Don't let them know. Take that label off the bottle. Don't, take that label off your gummies, however you use your, take that label off the cream. If you use the cream, God forbid you're wandering around Britain taking flights with the happiness cream in your bag. That would be tragic for all who encounter it.
Dangerous.
Living dangerously there. bunch of 70-year-old Britons not being able to fly around Britain with their happiness scream.
Dangerous arthritis cream.
That's right. Go ahead, Sonny. Try to take my arthritis cream away from me. How dare you? I don't know what they call them in Britain, but I just be like, I see some TSA agent getting caned.
Right.
It's not going to hurt because they don't come at you fast, but.
Oh, it's for your joints, huh, druggie? Okay.
It'd be more like, why don't you let me have some of that, and I'll show you I can't travel with.
Right.
Oh, shit. So anyway, and like every other, literally, and I'm not kidding, every other headline on my feeds, on my hemp feeds, was another state. Just it was like it might as well be just like a line, like one of those lines, like fill in your state name here. Hemp industry will be destroyed.
Yeah.
By this stuff going on. I mean, every other state talking about how the hemp industry is done. It's done if this happens. So, I've talked about how if you are in any military in the United States, if you are part of the American military system, you cannot use hemp in any form. You can't use hemp shampoo. You can't use hemp soap. And guess what you definitely can't do? You definitely cannot eat a hemp protein bar. Okay? But they were available for Navy officers at the Navy Exchange in Italy. So at the Navy Exchange, I don't know, and again, I don't know what that means. Where I guess soldiers can go and buy or get their goods on foreign land using American dollars or whatever. But somehow these protein bars, which again seems reasonable to supply the military with protein bars or make available to the soldiers protein bars. But when they found out that they had hemp in them, the warning went out. Do not eat these. They are off limits. You are not allowed to ingest or use hemp in any form. Hemp. Hemp. The stuff that has the highest amount of protein of any vegetative matter on the planet. Hemp. Omega-6, omega-3s, vitamins, minerals. All of the things you want your soldiers eating. All right? A highly nutritional soldier will fight better than one that is malnutritioned. I mean, it's just it's so ridiculous that you would not want your soldiers eating more hemp food. There should be hemp in all their food. And here's what you do. Why don't you do this, military? Okay? Instead of going on the one court case that happened in America that somehow some fireman proved that he ate so much hemp food somehow that he tested positive for THC. 100% unscientifically possible. There is zero chance that eating hemp seed will make you fail a drug test. Zero chance. Let's do the largest hemp seed study on the planet just so we can prove that it's not possible. And then the military can get rid of this dumb policy. It's the dumbest policy, period. This is would be like sports teams telling their players that they can't eat hemp food because there's a chance that they would fail a drug test. Tom Brady eats hemp food. Again, it just seems so illogical for the military to do this. Now, I will tell you this. Even though technically soldiers are not supposed to use hemp in any form, and I didn't see what the research provided here, but the military was doing research on a hemp fiber ghillie suit. So if you know what a ghillie suit is a suit that you basically covers your entire body and makes you look like you are part of the natural environment. And so this is something that's used in more guerrilla warfare type fighting, which we don't do a whole lot of, but our soldiers are trained on. And when I say we don't do a whole lot of it, we don't do a whole lot of it that we know about.
Yeah.
Okay. But something to use. And again, why wouldn't they? Hemp material, hemp fiber, antimicrobial, antibacterial, 4 to 6 times stronger than cotton. So it's not going to break down. It's going to, keep its longevity. And so, there's so many reasons why, yes, just as many reasons as to why the military uniform should be made out of hemp. Because it's antibacterial. It breathes well. It lasts longer. That was standard operating procedure back in the day. And so it seems so weird again. It's just so ignorant. That our government, our military, these geniuses that are supposed to be keeping us safe in world conflict aren't even smart enough to know that not only is hemp food has no euphoric value, it's not going to get any of the soldiers high, but it's highly nutritious. And something that all soldiers should have. You should be supplying your soldiers with protein bars at every meal that have hemp in them, for that matter. Maybe not every meal, but, instead of giving them all these processed meats and whatever. I can't even imagine what the average soldier has to eat on the average day. It can't be that healthy. And the fact that they want to make them less healthy by taking hemp protein bars away from them is freaking ludicrous. Honestly, it makes zero. It's one of those things that makes 0 sense. Just 0 sense. There's no logic in keeping soldiers from eating hemp. There's no logic in it. It's actually negative to keep them from it. It harms them to say they can't have it. That's really looking out for the soldier. And I want to be clear. About something. Okay? I may be anti-war, but I am pro-soldier. And that may not make any sense. Okay? But I support those men and women that made that choice to be part of the war machine. They are puppets in the war machine. And I will not disrespect them because their leaders and the people high up believe that killing is a way to accomplish your greedy needs. Um, you know, I think that my opinion about the military is I don't know why any of our military needs to be anywhere else in the world. We could bring our military back here and we could line our coastal, we could line our borders. Like, why do we need a border wall? When if you're that concerned about it, if it's really a threat to American society that these people want to come and get a better life, if that's really that big of a threat, then why not put a soldier every 200 feet along the Mexican border? We got enough of them to do it. It's like waste a bunch of money with a wall. Why aren't there more forts, military forts along the borders? I mean, if that's really your concern, it only makes sense. Instead of sending the military into the inner cities because you think that's going to work, why don't you send them to the borders if that's your biggest deal? Immigration's still huge to these people. You know, um, it just it's so once again it's just so ignorant. It's like we don't have to spend any more money to protect our borders. We have a huge military, a massive military. I'm like, I just don't even understand. They run their boats and their helicopters up and down the coast. There isn't one vacation that I've gone on to Florida or North Carolina or Connecticut, or I haven't looked out over the ocean if I was there for even a couple hours and there was a military helicopter or something flying. And so, why can't we do that on all borders? It's just so bizarre to me if that's really it. If you're really, and again, that's what they're supposedly trying to keep us all safe from these terrible, terrible humans that are leaving the country that they live in and were born in to come here and terrorize America. That's their logic. We need a wall because these people, these humans, are so desperate to leave the country they live in to come terrorize America. I mean, the ignorance on immigration alone is baffling. But anyway, okay. That's about all the news that I have. The medical marijuana meetup is in December, but I think it's going to be the second Tuesday in December. I will get more information on that. I think we're going back to the Mad Tree again, but I will know more next week on the medical marijuana meetup. And I urge everyone to go to meetup.com and sign up for and that's where you can get, you can join the medical marijuana meetup group and get more updates on that if you're in the area or whatnot. Either way. All right. Well, it's I just don't understand why it's so important for our government to shut down a complete industry. A complete industry. If this wording in this bill goes through, 1 year from now, there is no hemp industry in our country anymore. None. Okay? It's once again, I don't clearly understand and maybe I can go out there and actually find the exact wordage of what this part of this whole thing says. But I've seen them talking about how they're talking synthetic hemp products, so Delta 8, Delta 10, HHC. Uh, those are the synthetic cannabinoids that are naturally occurring, but we cannot boost their numbers. We haven't figured out how to naturally boost it. So we make those out of other cannabinoids. We take CBD, and through the mathematics of science, we turn CBD into Delta 8. And again, every single one of them has a purpose. And every single one of them has yet to be proven to be harmful. Either way, even if they're just talking about a synthetic. But they're not, and that's the problem. They're talking about a THC ban. Straight out. You can't do it. Okay, this is, once again, I truly believe that if this is it, within the year, the courts will decide that they didn't have the authority to do this anyway. But, even if it's Delta, whatever. But to me, they're talking THC. THC. That's the big one on the table. THC. What others on the list? I don't know. I mean, are they talking THC and not THCA? Because, okay, go ahead. I don't know how that's even going to be possible either. Because, again, we got to have that 0.3%. You can't say no THC. You can't. It's dumb. And in fact, you want to change hemp in the wrong direction. We're once again going in the wrong direction. The right direction is to boost the amount of THC you can have in it. Not, and again, I want to make it clear that this does not happen for a year. This is the exact same thing Mitch McConnell tried to do, and Rand Paul said no. And Rand Paul is desperately fighting for hemp, for Kentucky hemp, for hemp. Period. I think it's an upward battle. But if they don't pass these second round and all this stuff, because this is a huge debate, it may be because Rand Paul's the one Republican that votes no. And they got their 8 Democrat sellouts, and they are selling out. The Democrats are selling out. And it's disgusting because they're giving up on health care. And they're giving up on health care and the argument that people can't get their SNAP benefits and people aren't getting paid. I'm like, okay, so you're going to give up on the fact that people's health care is literally going to double in a month. What they pay now is going to double in 1 month. So now their health, they're like, how many people are now not going to have insurance again because they cannot afford it? But it's okay, because people are getting on their airplanes and getting around the country because that's more important. The most disgusting thing about the snaps is one judge says, you got to pay all of it and you got to do it now. And the Trump administration appeals that. No, we don't want to feed 100%. We only want to feed 50%. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. So instead of really wanting to put the government back to work, what they're doing is they're allowing the alcohol industry and the marijuana industry to tell them what to do, because that's what this is really about. This isn't about saving kids, Mitch McConnell, and you know it. This is about you being in the pocket of the alcohol industry or the marijuana industry because it's such a threat to them somehow. show me over the last year or even two how these products have gotten so out of control that they've shut down the alcohol industry in any way, how they've cut in to the marijuana industry in any way. Ohio's making literally buckets and buckets and buckets of money on the marijuana industry. And you're worried about hemp, which is actually legal. Once again, what Mitch McConnell is saying, what all of these people are saying, is they support the federally illegal marijuana over the federally legal hemp plant. It truly, truly is some of the most ignorant behavior of any humans that call themselves intelligent. And it's going to destroy an entire legal industry that Mitch McConnell got started in 2014. And instead of making possibly logical solution changes, you're going to go backwards and basically destroy the industry. Again, I'm not kidding you. 1 year from now, if this passes and it holds, no one's growing hemp in the United States next year. No one. If this passes and is in effect come June of next year, there will be a minimal amount of hemp growing in the ground. And I don't care if they're growing for seed, again, for seed or fiber. This affects the entire industry. Because what are we doing now again? We're making it seem like this is criminal behavior. It's not. I implore you to take this out. I implore you to prove to us that these products are harmful. I implore you to try to figure out if there's another industry, the hemp industry, that we can adapt in the United States to become self-sufficient as you want to make America great again. We can grow enough hemp in the United States to feed, to clothe, to house, to drive, to fuel. Here, not relying on material from China, not relying on hemp seed from Canada. And I want to also be very clear that I am a one world human. I want everyone in the world to have a successful life. I do not care where you live. I'm not going to care about your political ideology. I don't care about the political ideology of the people around me now. I want everyone to live in homeostasis internally and externally. I want equality everywhere. I don't want made in America or made in the USA on the label because I only want things made in the USA. The fact of the matter is hemp is one of the only things that can save humanity. And here we are, the last industrialized country in the world to legalize hemp. In 2013, I should say, we were the last industrialized country in the world to legalize hemp. We were that far behind. And now, for the last 10, 12 years, we've been furiously trying to play catch up because we're chasing an industry, the CBD, the flower industry, that we didn't even know was going to make this industry flourish. Reason Patagonia can grow hemp fiber and put it in their clothing is because of hemp flower, the very flower that they are now trying to take apart and pick at and piecemeal. We have a clear definition of what hemp is. We do not need to try to change the definition of what hemp is. All right? In no way, in no way, in any of these states where marijuana has been legal or is legal, is the fact that because hemp is out there, those states are less safe. Once again, you promote an industry that's not federally legal. And then you challenge an industry that can save the planet and is 100% legal. It has to stop. I do have a list. I think I sent the list over of the House committee. I should have had that up there as I was rambling. I'll leave this up and ramble some more. Get a hold of any of these people immediately. Find their phone numbers. I don't even. The rumor is they're going to vote on this thing tonight. I don't know if it's. It can't be too late. They're getting calls right now. Again, every other headline was about some other state who's saying if this happens, an entire industry will disappear. And I think that, again, where's the education? Instead of just saying we need this in there to save the kids, that is the biggest cop out. It's the old for the kids. It's for the kids, man. Anybody can say that. We might as well say 9/11. Keeping America safe. That was the defense for anything absurd. And just like this is absurd. It's for the kids. It's not for the kids. It's for the marijuana industry. It's for the alcohol industry. Hell, for that matter, it's probably for the tobacco industry, who is also probably doesn't like the fact that people are smoking a lot more cannabis than they are tobacco. So yeah, let's get rid of these products. Let's get rid of all this stuff. Let's put it back out there into the black market. Send everybody back to those legal products that are so safe for you. It's like we accept the fact that the alcohol industry is upset about, and again, the alcohol industry was one of the biggest proponents against the legalization of marijuana. And it's like now the marijuana industries and the alcohol industries are getting in bed together to make hemp illegal. And the alcohol industries flat out know that in a year, marijuana will be legal in the United States of America. And that's what really pisses me off even more. It's like these greedy bastards can't wait a year to get their legal product. To be able to make their legal THC drinks that are biting into their legal alcoholic drinks. It's dumbfounding. hundreds of thousands of death certificates signed every year. Alcohol, tobacco, cause of death. Not one marijuana or hemp, for that matter. Not one. You're trying to keep us safe by denying us something that we enjoy, and that's what it's all about. Your moral laws, your moral ideology. We enjoy these things. They make us happy. Well, God forbid. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
God made it. But God forbid you enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's bring me the science. I just keep asking for the science, and they just keep not having it. They just keep because we should. And it's as much as because we can mentality. We're going to take this stuff away from you because we can. We don't really have a good reason. We're going to tell you it's to keep the kids safe, but honestly, we don't have a good reason. We just don't like you. We don't care about you. We never have, and we never will. And we all stand up now, or we all fall down tomorrow. And that's exactly, and that's this industry. This is my life for the last 30 years. Standing up to try to avoid the falling down. But you know what? We keep standing up and they keep pushing us over. We're not falling down. We're getting pushed over. But guess what? We'll be back standing up tomorrow. If this passes, I guarantee you the money, there's enough money in the hemp world that we will figure out a way to, get this not legalized. Again, a year. And this is my last thought as I end the show today. This is my last thought. This is an emergency. We've got to save the humans from this evil, intoxicating hemp. We're going to sign this bill, but it won't go into effect for a year. You're good. This stuff is awful, but you can continue to have it for another year. This stuff is killing kids. It's harmful to kids, but you know what? We'll let them have it for another year. And it's all so they can get their bits and pieces into it. It's just so they can get it all regulated. It's just okay. I can only leave everyone with that ignorance, and get a hold of these representatives and tell them this is ridiculous. Leave hemp out of this. You want to address a intoxicating hemp problem in the United States, it needs to be its own separate bill passed by Congress and all that, and then moved on. And there's no way that's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's why they do this like they do it. They slide this stuff in there. This has no appropriate purpose to starting the government again. No appropriate purpose to starting the government again. They're just doing it because they can. And it's disgusting. Again, it's disgusting. It's just disgusting as these retiring Democrats, these Democrats that know they don't have anything to lose until 2028 or 2030 voting to do this. The Democrats are giving in, and it's all of them. They chose these 8 purposely. because once again, at least 2 of them are retiring, and the rest aren't up for election for another 2 or 3 years. It's disgusting. I think I sent over one more
Yep.
one more piece of information. So also contact these people. Let them know that this hemp part has no purpose, does not benefit anyone, and it's just flat out shady. Just tell them they're being flat out shady. Because the government shouldn't be so shady for something that they have yet to prove is harmful. All right, folks. Well, get out there, spread the word, get in touch with them. I don't care where you live in this country. This will affect you.
Mm-hmm.
This will affect you. Thanks a lot for watching. Remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See y'all next week.